All right. Welcome, everybody, to the DZP, the Danny Z podcast. I have with me my son, Jesse, my one and only son. We are here in Golden Hour on the veranda. A couple days ago, you and I had an argument. Do you recall?
Oh, yeah, we did.
Do you recall what that argument was about?
I don't remember the particulars, but I'm gonna just go out here on a limb
Lean this way.
and say it stemmed from me being a jerk.
Well, we've tried to instill that knowledge in you. But no, what was it? You wanted to leave the house.
Yeah.
What did I want you to do? It couldn't have been something as trivial as unload the dishwasher. He unloads the dishwasher. What was it? Did you want to watch something or?
No, I think it was my 80-20 with cleaning up after cubby houses.
But yeah, but that wouldn't have resulted in anyway. Okay, I don't know. I don't even know what this argument was about. I don't know what the blue was about. Jeez, you go through that quick. I don't know what this argument was about, but we found ourselves at odds. And I thought, from my stake in things, I thought I handled it really well. I thought, like...
Well, I do too.
Yeah, but no. You didn't think I was handling it well at the time. So,
Yeah,
you were hopping
Yeah,
mad.
looking back, I do now.
I was taking this all totally casual, and that's like number one of dealing with near teenagers or teenagers. And I'll give you the advice that I got given, and it's the advice that has saved me with this one over here. I was given to me by my godfather, Tom, and he said, "Danny, you have to remember one thing."
I think you should do this in like an Italian accent.
No, Danny. No, because he's total like farm boy from Nebraska. Like rides, it's like his greatest joy. My godfather, his greatest joy is riding around on John Deere tractors. He's like a big kid. He said, "Danny, what you have to remember about teenagers," and he said, "You have to remember with teenagers, they will say the dumbest things." And that was a pretty general term. They will say the dumbest things. Pay no attention to what they say. Now, at the height of this argument, I needed to, those words were ringing in my ears because Jesse said, "Why don't you start a business that actually succeeds?" This is a bit of a sore point. He can fire off this insult because he's hopping mad. And here's the thing. What I find so interesting is that, I grew up and I would never have said that to my dad, right? And occasionally I'll say to the kid...
Well, he only had one business, didn't he?
I had a couple. But it's not what you said, it's how you said it. It was, "I'm saying this because I'm really, really mad and I'm trying to hurt you." That is what you were saying. That's why you were saying it.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, I didn't mean it. Like, I meant it at the time.
I know.
But, yeah, I think it's a great idea at the time. But after I think about it...
Right, and this is teenagers. You say the stupidest things, and my job is to pay no attention to you. And he'd said this to me in the past before, so it was like, it wasn't like a super shocker. But he said it, and Uncle Tom's words were ringing in my ears, and I'm like, okay, don't bite. It was effectively don't bite. But what I was coming back to is that you feel really comfortable firing off those insults most of the time. Like, you'll say stupid stuff all the time, and you say it within the safety of our home and within the safety of our relationship because
and,
you say stupid stuff.
Yeah.
You say stuff you don't mean.
And it's all classed under the great term, piffle.
Piffle. He's talking piffle, right? And you will say those things, whereas I never would, and Natasha never would. We never would have said those things to our parents, either because we thought we were going to hurt them, but it's like, it's not his job to worry about whether or not he's going to hurt me. Not until he gets like way, way older, and even then, I still ought to be so far ahead of him in personal development that it doesn't matter what stage he's at. I've already been through that stage, and I know kind of the similar way in which he's feeling, so it should never bother me. He should actually never have to worry about hurting my feelings. This is something we were talking about recently with with Mama in that where she grew up in the environment she grew up, both of our parents split. Nobody got out of that relationship. Nobody got out of that house unscathed. You know, Jesse, we were talking about the difference between Jesse and Natasha. Natasha's very serious. Scorpio. Fire. What else is she? Tiger. Fire. Tiger. Scorpio. Like, this woman is intense. This is she had the ability to kind of lean into the intensity when there were lots of arguments going on, when her mom was just weeping all the time, when her dad was always pissed off because he was suffering through PTSD because he's a 40-year veteran of the police, seeing horrific stuff. He's told me some of the stuff.
Longest serving officer in Queensland, by the way.
It's true. Nobody got out of that. She's got a sister. Nobody got out of that relationship. Nobody got out of that house unscathed. Now, I think about that. I think about Jesse potentially growing up in a situation like that. Buoyant, bouncy, air sign, Gemini. She's just so light. ESFP. Just light and fun and happy and seeks to type 7 in the Enneagram, seeks to make others happy and just really suffers sometimes when Natasha and I get super intense with one another. And the intensity is not an argument. It's just we're being intense. We're talking about intense things. We're able to fire back and forth. And there's really this dynamic between us that can seem explosive to somebody who's just not explosive generally, unless his bad Gemini comes in. You know, for him to be plucked out of this situation where we are very self-aware, where we both of us have self-actualized, where we've individuated from our parents as much as we possibly can up until this point, but where everybody's still growing. I think about that for Jesse, and it's a heartbreaker. You would have, first of all, you never would have said it because you would have learned never to have said that to him because of how he reacted. And I guess that's something that I'm very proud of, that he'll, say something like that he considers to be like the most cutting. It's like, not even "I hate you" is worse.
I haven't said "I hate you" for like I think a good 3 years.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not even like you consider that the business thing. You consider that to be far more egregious than saying "I hate you."
Yeah.
Because it cuts a little closer to the bone. Because I love business. Because I hate to see businesses fail and all that. And he knows this.
Yeah, it cuts
this
a little
little twerp. This twerp knows that. Twerp. Yes, twerp. But you never would have said that. What I love is that we have fostered an environment. A lot of people wouldn't be proud of that. A lot of people wouldn't. They would not say that's a shining example of how well they've parented. Listen to my kid insulting me. Don't I feel great about how well I've parented? That's not typically what people would say. They never would say that. But Natasha and I do. We do, because here's the thing. Jesse was storming out. We live in a complex. He's got friends all over. He's always going in and out of the house. It's truly like living in a small town, except we live in one of the biggest cities in Australia. And he was going out. He wanted to go out, and he was pissed off that he couldn't go out.
Language.
And he said, "I'm leaving." He's like on his way out the door. He's got a foot out the door, and he's standing there, but he never actually left. But he knows that by doing so, by taking such action, words are one thing, action is another. It's like, talk is cheap, right? So his talk is really, really cheap. His actions speak very, very loudly. He's totally honest. He's totally truthful. For the most part, I know that there are certain areas in which he's like, oh, well, maybe we'll bend the truth, kind of like the way his mother does.
I've never bend the truth.
Never.
Exaggeration is a side.
That's what they say. That's what they call it. No, I'm just exaggerating. But he knew where the line was, and he never crossed that line.
I put a toe over it.
Oh, of course, you put your toe over it, but ultimately you came back in. Ultimately, the relationship that we've built with you is so strong that you can release all the anger and the frustration that you were feeling verbally. You can express that, and you know what? You're the type of person who is tremendously expressive through vocally. You are like the noisiest thing I have ever encountered. Always talking, always wants to talk, converse, everything. Like he'll be upstairs playing alone. he'll just start bellowing out of nowhere, making god-awful noises just because he has to hear some other sound other than like noises that are going on in his head, plus the audiobook that's playing, plus the classical music that's playing, plus the sound of him rummaging through his Lego.
I never listen to an audiobook and classical music. It's one or the other.
See, I don't understand that, because he'll listen to an audiobook and he'll be watching a documentary at the same time as reading a book.
Never.
I'm like, yeah, no, I've seen you do it.
But no.
And I don't understand.
I listen to an audiobook while watching something while reading.
Whatever. But the fact that you won't do an audiobook as well as listen to classical music, I think those two marry perfectly together. Because typically you only ever take in classic literature anyway.
I can't because my tablet stops playing one of them when I try to switch.
It's true, but I recently got you a phone.
Bingo.
Recently got him a phone. Anyway.
Okay, just imagine a little like yellow light bulb coming up above my head.
So.
Like coming out of the star.
I'll put that in for you. I'll put a little light bulb. Anyway.
Do it.
Okay. The point is that, that was a fun experience, and I was really proud of myself for how I behaved, because when he said that, I'm like, I was really proud of myself for how I behaved in that, because this is the thing as parents, it's not just marriage, but it's also parents. It's the relationship within your nuclear family, It's my response to that, because I can't control his behavior. I can't do that. I can try and beat out behavior that I don't like. I can try and intimidate and scare out behavior that I don't like. He has never been hit, except in frustration. It's like, get out of my face. I can only control, and this is everybody in the rest of the world, I can only control my response to the stimulus that I'm currently receiving. And the stimulus I was receiving is from this clown over here saying, why don't you start a business that actually succeeds? I could control my response. I was really proud of my response. I didn't really care then about what he said. That's for him to deal with. He's the one who has to deal with, okay, now that I've said something that I know to be horrible, and the reason I know it to be horrible, even though it was like water off a duck's back for me, he knows it was horrible because he meant it to be horrible. Whether or not I took it horribly is another question. But, I don't know. What do you have to say about that? I'm not asking you to answer for what you said.
Spur of the moment.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, what do you think about what I'm saying and how you then feel? Like, how did you feel afterwards? I don't know. How long after did, like, you knew that you
How long after I said that did I regret it?
Yeah.
About a millisecond, I'd say.
Okay, so it occurred to you instantly.
Yeah.
Right. And then, like, what did you think? It's like, oh, God.
I thought, oh, crap.
Why did I say that?
Why did I talk such piffle? My piffle cannon started firing randomly.
It's a loose cannon. I have no control over this thing. Anyway, we came good, obviously. We're doing the interview now. It's not World War III. This was, weaker. It was a week ago. Anyway, Jesse, I think that does it for our first interview. I want to thank you very much for joining me.
I want the light bulb. And the ka-ching.
Light bulb and the ching. I am Danny Z. This is Jesse Z. This is the DZP, the Danny Z podcast. Please like and subscribe the video. Send it to anybody who you think ought to get it. We will talk to you later.
I didn't have anything to do that with, so I just do it with my empty glass.
Bingo.